What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. We made it. We made it. We made it. We made it. I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like.
The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the host, guests, and callers, who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
When you walk out on that field today, ask yourself this question. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. We made it. We made it. We made it. We made it. I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it. It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We made it. I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how like we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up the chin straps. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from them. He's a man. They can be hit just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war out there. When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We made it. I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
Lunch break, Freestyle Friday on the legendary KYOK AM 1140, 92.3 FM. I'm not AJ, I'm the other J. I'm Jennifer, Dr. J. Thibeaux, and I am filling in. This is like, it's Freestyle Friday, but it's the takeover of Freestyle Friday. So it's exactly what I love about this show. Welcome, lunch breakers. You know, we couldn't do it without you. And so we appreciate you. We're not taking live calls today, but we are taking all the comments. So get on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, get everything on there. Get your comments and I will get them out. I appreciate and I love you. We have got a show planned. If you are dialed in, then you see somebody over my left shoulder. It might be to your right, but as he's trying to move. You know, the fun thing about doing shows is that it's even much more fun when you can do it with somebody. That's the part I love the most. And so this brother deserves a little music. So I'm gonna give him a little something. If you recognize what this music is, started from the bottom, now we here. Now he and I never went from the bottom, but we started out and we're here, and he is my forever boo, but he is my co-host for today. Houston, you know him as number 28 for the Houston Oilers for quite some time, from 88 to 96, but he is so much more than that. After 13 years in the NFL, 4 years as a dual athlete at Purdue University, he went on and is continuing on to make a huge contribution in sports, in football as a coach. So he's 17 years and counting. Chris Dishman, How are you doing today?
I'm doing great and excited to be on lunch break. I know AJ's not here, but hey, we're going to be talking to him soon, or shout out to him soon. But I am excited to be on KYOK AM at 1140 and 92.3 FM. Let's get this party started.
Oh shucks, I think I owe him an extra $5 because he got all of that right. Well, listen, we've been on this show before. We're broadcasting now out of Bradenton, Florida, because that's how fly the show is. It can broadcast from anywhere. But we do want to give a special shout out to all the Houston listeners and the Houston connected listeners, because I know because we live stream, we have people from all over. And that's what we've done today with our show. We are getting guests from all over. So, AJ, I know that you are celebrating a birthday, and that's important. Yeah, AJ is celebrating a birthday. That's why we gave him a little bit time off. Oh, I just want to say a shout out to Keith Hennig. Hey, Keith, how's it going? I'm glad to see you join. I was hoping that you were going to join so you can celebrate and give us a little shoulder shake, because we're going to give a special shout out to AJ because he's celebrating his birthday. So, if you're cool with it, if you're cool like that, you got to give a little nod. You got to get a little shoulder into it. Chris, can you get a little shoulder? Oh, he did the little snake. Oh, he doing a snake. Okay. So he and I won't be on Dancing with the Stars anytime soon, as you see. But AJ, I hope you are getting your wiggle on and doing all the great things that you're supposed to do. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. We were going to sing it, but we were a little out of tune. So you get, in the club, birthday, happy birthday. So we just appreciate you so much that this is what we do. Okay, so because we have like a show plan, like a for real show, it's freestyle, we free, but we got a lot to cover. So we're gonna kind of keep it moving. Make sure that you add your comments in. Hey, Al, hi, I appreciate you so much for joining in online. Again, we're not taking live calls, but we are taking comments. So make sure you go to our live stream, check us out, see what we have on. Watch us dance during the breaks or all the crazy things that we do, but make sure you connect with us because this show is nothing without you. Okay, what's really important is, guess what? We have Thibeaux Wilkes and what you need to know. So I don't want to pass that up because every show we hear from her. So let's see what Thibeaux has to say.
It's Thibeaux Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is, say it with me now, Friday, December 10th, 2021. Number 1, Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley has introduced a resolution that would punish Representative Lauren Boebert for her recent Islamophobic comments towards Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. The resolution would remove Boebert from her 2 House committees. Pressley said the resolution also aims to send a powerful message to every Muslim and every marginalized person that they are powerful and deserve a life free from fear and filled with dignity and love. And a letter was also sent from Muslim staffers and those who are allied with them. Number 2, Spalding County in Atlanta, Georgia is one of 6 county boards that Republicans have quietly reorganized recently through the passing of the state's Senate Bill 202. It not only restricted ballot access statewide, but it allowed Republican-controlled state election board to assume control of county boards it deems underperforming. The changes expanded the party's power over choosing members of local election boards ahead of the crucial midterm congressional elections in November of next year. The Democratic majority of 3 Black women is gone, and so is the Black election supervisor. Number 3, according to CDC Director Rochelle Walensky, more than 40 people in the U.S. have been found to be infected with the Omicron variant so far. More than 3/4 of them had been vaccinated, but nearly all of them were only mildly ill. The data is very limited, and the agency is working on a more detailed analysis of what the new mutant form of the coronavirus might hold for the United States. Number 4, a federal investigation that re-examined the murder of Emmett Till ended Monday after the Justice Department failed to find proof that a key figure in the case lied. The Black teenager from Chicago, Emmett Till, was brutally beaten and shot in the head in 1955 after a white woman, Carolyn Bryant Donham, said he whistled at her and touched her in a Mississippi store. J.W. Milam and Roy Bryant, Donham's husband at the time, were acquitted of Till's murder by an all-male, all-white jury in Mississippi that deliberated for just over an hour before it returned a not guilty verdict. Both men, who have since died, told a magazine journalist that they committed the crime, offering a detailed account of the gruesome slaying. Number 5. For some, business ownership is a lifelong goal, but for one elementary school teacher, entrepreneurship was a pleasant surprise. Working with children has always sparked Natasha Clark's creativity, and she began making personalized gifts for her fellow teachers in her spare time. Read more about Natasha Clark, owner of Tasha's Creative Corner, in today's Black Business Spotlight. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Life is a series of choices. Choose to consciously connect with someone today. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partners, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and the American Heart Association. To subscribe to my free daily newsletter, please visit SibylWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered.
Oh, I had to put a little music to come back from break now. All about the Benjamins. You know what time it is. Chris, you know all about the Benjamins?
Yes, I do.
Well, why do we play All About the Benjamins? Why? Because we're about to talk sports, and sports is what? Money. It's the money. So you have to talk money. When you talk money, you got to play the money. And this is our quick sports wrap up around the globe. So Tiger Woods is actually going to be in Orlando on December 18th. For the PNC Championship. It used to be called the Father-Son Championship, but times have changed. It's not always the men who are out there playing golf, so they call it this family event to make it inclusive. Guess who he's bringing? His 12-year-old son, Charlie. And so this is a really cool event. This is their second year doing it. Last year they came out 7th. I'd like to know the six people that actually beat them. But this is significant because this is the first time that Tiger is back on the green since his accident. So he's excited about it. I think it's a great reintroduction for Tiger back on the green competitively, and he can share this moment with his son. If you had a chance to do a father-son on the football field, Chris, would you do it?
Of course I would. I'm trying to get out there next week. With my son playing the All-Star game, I want to see if I can get out there and play with him.
Now, do you have your helmets, pads, creams, oils?
I'm definitely going to need all that for sure.
Well, it's definitely a fun family affair. What's notable about this event, too, is the number one woman golf in the world. She's competing with her father. So she is the first time in the event's 24-year history that a woman has been the lead golfer for the group. So it'll be interesting to watch. Maybe we'll roll on down there if we get a chance. All right. Does that come in a plant-based version, please? That's what Kyrie Irving is actually asking right now about the vaccine. As you all know, he has opted out of participating with NBA activities because of the vaccine requirement. He's in New York. There's these layers and layers of rules. Okay, that's just what it is. New York has their own rules. Facilities have their rules. The NBA has their rules. And Kyrie has his own personal stance on it. Can you blame him?
No, I can't. He had to be in control of what's going in and out of his body, first and foremost. That's his decision, and everyone just have to respect people's decisions. Some people are taking a vaccine, some not. It's all about respect. You just got to respect someone else's decision and don't try to live your life through someone else. That's Kyrie's decision. That's what he wanted to do. And I respect him for the decision he made. Now, would I have made that decision? No.
You would have played.
I will play because of the money that they are giving me to play. Mm-hmm. And I do not want to lose that. So I would have played and went ahead and took the vaccine.
All right. Well, everyone has a different opinion. Nets head coach Steve Nash, and I quote, said, "If we get the gift of his return, we'll be ecstatic, but we can't count on it. We can't wait for him. We have to get to work and get better. And our group's been awesome this year." Coach, does that sound like, well, see you when I see you?
Well, it sounds a little bit something like this. Steve Nash basically was saying that, Kyrie, whenever you'll bleep, get here, then we will play with you. But if not, then we're going to keep this train moving and keep going. And if you come, you come. If you don't, you don't. So I think that was the clean version you read. But being a coach, if someone would say something like that, I would just tell them, hey, whenever you bleep get here, then we play with you. If not, then we're just gonna keep going. Because one person cannot stop a show and one player cannot stop the game.
All right. Now, just as a reminder, this is a Christian show, so we'll let the angels decide what the bleeps were in Coach Dishman's commentary. All right. Well, it will be interesting because there is a plant-based vaccine that's actually on the horizon. So we may see a return to Kyrie with the new technologies that come about. So I'd be interested in saying, I'd actually be interested in looking into the plant-based vaccine if we need to take more boosters. You and I are fully plant-based at this stage of the game in our lives. And so I didn't even think about plant-based. Did you?
No, I didn't. But since we already took our third booster, and if they say a fourth one would help, I would take the plant-based version of that booster.
Absolutely. All right. Trevor Lawrence has spoken. The Jaguars QB, Trevor Lawrence, has found his voice, and that voice is campaigning for James Robinson. So this is what he says, and I quote, "In my eyes, obviously, I'm the one that's out, see all the pieces moving. I see the whole picture. Bottom line is James is one of our best players, and he's got to be on the field." So, you go, well, why is a QB having a campaign like that? What happened? There were a few mistakes made, but former number 28, Chris Dishman, 13 years, the mistakes happen?
Mistakes always happen, and you have to get between that fine line as a coach and as a player. And Trevor Lawrence has spoken out. He is the leader of the team. He's the number one draft choice. He's the future of the team. So as a coach, you're going to have to listen to him and listen to what he's trying to say. As the quarterback is always your leaders of the team. They're the visionaries of your team, just like Warren Moon was for us. When Warren's having a great game, sometimes we all have great games. And, it's just that you always follow your quarterback. And Trevor Lawrence has spoken out and wanted James Robinson on the field. Obviously, James Robinson is probably one of the most athletic guys, and Trevor feel like that we cannot win without him. And we need to get him on the field. They need to get him on the field.
So sitting out 16 to 20 consecutive plays, that's a problem for one of your best players?
Of course, because he sit over there, get cold, he get uninterested in the game. Yes, fans, yes. Sometimes we get uninterested in the game. So he's probably talking, not really paying attention of what's going on, knowing that he's going to be out. And, he start talking to his friends on the sideline, then he start complaining. Or something like that. And I'm just throwing stuff out there. I'm not for sure what happened or what didn't happen, but those type of stuff do happen. And he probably just needed to be a guy that, of course, when he make mistakes, as a coach, you want to pull the player out, talk to him, let him regroup, and then put him back in.
Because you want to win.
Of course.
The goal is to win. That is the
goal.
That's right. That's right. So who wins this battle? I mean, we're going to start to see it starting on Sunday, but who wins in your eyes?
Your franchise quarterback wins.
QB1 wins.
Yeah, QB1 win because you drafted him as your franchise quarterback. That meaning that you're not going to be 1 or 2 years with him. Trevor Lawrence is a very good quarterback, so he got a bright future, a good future ahead of him. You're talking about 10, 12 years down the road, Trevor Lawrence is still going to be playing. So as the QB1 will win this battle each and every time.
All right. Well, on to another QB1, Aaron Rodgers with the Packers. So it's the return of trash talking or not? To trash talk or not to trash talk? Chris Dishman, that is the question. Now, you know a little something about trash talking, just a little bit.
I wouldn't call it trash talking. I call it truth talking.
I like that. Yes, indeed.
I call it confidence talking.
Well, I recall I think it was Houston Chronicle paper article, and you were truth talking to the referee, and they had you giving a very serious look. So is that you were giving the referee a bit of truth?
Oh, I gave him a lot of truth on that call.
Oh, you remember that particular call?
I remember the call, and I remember the paper that was out there, the thing was out there, and just looking at that, it's like I was because he made a bad call on me. You know, it wasn't. If you go back and look at the film, you can see it wasn't a pass interference, and that was a crucial point in the game. And what refs don't fail to realize that their call can make an outcome of a game. And I thought that at that crucial point in the game, it was third and something, I think, and they called me for a pass interference. And ended up giving the team a first down, so they got 4 more downs or 4 more downs to try to score on us, and or either try to 4 more downs or kick a field goal. So when refs call bad calls at crucial times like this, then I had to tell him exactly how I felt and where he can go.
Well, you survived. I'm sure the referee did too. The question is, what's up with the Chicago Bears fans? So earlier this season, Aaron Rodgers had an exchange of sorts, some truth talking moments with some Chicago Bears fans in Soldier Field. And apparently the Bears fans did some hand signs and gestures. I don't think he was saying you're number one to Aaron Rodgers, of which Aaron Rodgers said, "I still own you." That was his response. Should he have even responded to the fans?
He could have. That's his decision. He made that decision, But like I said, sometimes fans can. I know they pay the money, they pay the parking, they pay for the beer, they pay for the food, they pay for the tickets. I understand all that, and fans keep thinking that, oh, we pay for your paycheck. You pay for some of those guys' paycheck, not a lot of them. And your percentage of what you pay for the tickets, it's not really going to go toward those guys' paycheck. So they got to realize that they just can't blurt out anything and everything and not get a response, because we're human also. Yeah, we play football, we play sports, but we're human also, and sometimes our human instincts kick in, you know. But Aaron, at least was very respectful to that guy and said that he owned him. Now I don't know if Aaron, what's the record he has, how many wins versus Chicago he have.
22-5.
Well, yeah, he do own him.
That's the record. 22-5.
Well, he do own him. So so he is. Well, that's like I said. That's why we call it truth talking. He is telling the truth.
Well, are the Bears fans going to remember they're actually going to be at Lambeau now? So here comes the Bears fans with the chip on their shoulder. Is there going to be more?
No, you don't worry about the fans. They're not going to be out there playing. Aaron Rodgers don't give a crap. I hope he's not giving a crap about the Bears fans. He should be worrying about the Bears players. As players, we got to worry about the players. The fans gonna come. They're gonna boo. They're gonna cheer. They're gonna do everything they want to try to distract you. But as a player, I never really worried about what the fans boo or cheer. I was just out there playing and making sure the guy in front of me. I had a hard enough problem as it is, cover the receivers in front of me. So I was making sure those guys in front of me don't catch the ball and make sure I make the tackles and stuff like that. I was concentrating on my assignment.
So you understood the assignment.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's probably why when the media asked Aaron Rodgers this week, particularly about if he had any plans or intentions to have interactions with the Bears fans, he said he's not sorry. So if they were looking for an apology, he's not sorry. And I think he's focused on the right things on the actual game. So we shall see. It'll be fun to watch. Serena Williams takes a hard pass on the Australian Open. With her medical team's advice, they have decided that she will not participate in the 2022 tournament. She's a 7-time winner of the Australian Open. They've even joked when she won, I forgot which time out of the 7, that they need to call it the Serena Slam, because between her and Venus, they just win and win and win. And it is a beautiful thing. So I quote, Serena says, "Following the advice of my medical team, I've decided to withdraw from this year's Australian Open. While this is never an easy decision to make, I am not where I need to be physically to compete." And that's important, because remember, the last time we saw Serena was at Wimbledon, and she retired in the first match because of the hamstring injury. So the last thing that you want to do is put yourself out there to have an injury that actually could really end your career. And she's like, she can take a time off and rest, right?
That's her body.
Absolutely.
She knows her body better than anybody. So that's her body.
if somebody gave you $5 million to go back to the NFL right now, and you had the luxury of taking a game off when you so choose, are you there?
I'm already gone.
He's out the door right now. He's out the
You have to do
studio.
the show by yourself. I'm out of here.
Well, I definitely understand that. So with Serena, the hunt to 24 is still on. It's just delayed a little bit. So some good news with the Houston Texans. Justin Reed was named the Houston Texans nominee for the 2021 Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award. So that deserves a lot of praise. If you don't know, the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award recognizes an NFL player for his excellence on and off the field. The award was established in 1970, renamed in 99 after the late Hall of Fame Chicago Bears running back Walter Payton. Each team nominates one player who has had a significant positive impact on his community. Representing the best of NFL's commitment to philanthropy and community impact, 32 players are selected as their team's Man of the Year and become eligible to win the national award. The winner of the award each year receives $250,000 donated to the winner's charity of choice, and all other 31 nominees receive up to $40,000 donated to their charity of choice. All donations are courtesy of NFL Foundation and nationwide. That's a commitment. That is quite a commitment, both by the NFL and the players. But as I recall, like, it's really important for every team, right? I'm like, I know you giving back to the community. That was an extremely important part of your assignment, being in that role.
Yes, it is, and you feel like you owe that to the fans. That's what you do owe to the fans, and that's what you do owe to the community, is be able to give back. Give back something to not only just your money, your time. If you don't have money, then give your time. If you don't have time, then give your money. It go hand in hand with each other.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Lunch breakers, this is the Lunch Break Freestyle Friday on the legendary KYOK AM 1140, 92.3 FM. We're going to listen to some winning strategies from Jacqueline Carr.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline Carr, and here is your winning strategy. Learning to save $2 or $3 out of every $10 was one of the lessons my parents shared with me. They wanted us to start early, teaching how to save so that we could break the curse of living from paycheck to paycheck and borrowing to make ends meet. My parents said that finances are a struggle for people, even good people. They wanted us to appreciate the finances we had, but also have wisdom of spending it. I had to learn it as a child, that even though my parents gave me a roof over my head, food to eat, and clothes to wear, if I wanted to go to the movies or skating, I had to save money for those things. I began to encourage myself to save money. I learned that youth respond better if we challenge them even at a young age to learn how to manage every dollar they get.
Welcome to Allstate, where we've just lowered our auto rates. And savings like that will have you jumping for joy. Now get new lower auto rates with Allstate, because better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click or call for a lower auto rate today.
All right, lunch breakers, we are back. We are back. This is the Lunch Break Freestyle Friday on the legendary KYOK AM 1140 and 92.3 FM. I am the other J, not AJ. I am Dr. J, and with me in our Bradenton studio is the legendary Chris Dishman. I would give you the round of applause. So if you're seeing it, then you can actually see it. All right, so Chris, as you know, we have guests that are getting dialed in, but there is some pressing, quick, rapid fire questions I'm asking everybody. So while people get dialed in, I'm going to ask you the rapid fire questions first. I think that would be appropriate. So are you ready? Now, you've not heard these. So, all right, rapid fire. Here we go. Favorite bowl game that you played in?
Peach Bowl.
Everybody loves to compare players versus others. Who did you pattern your game after?
Lester Hayes.
All right. Every generation makes an athletic twin, in my opinion. Who is the Chris Dishman twin in the NFL today?
Ooh, great question. Gilmore.
Gilmore.
Yes.
What? And I'm
The
not.
corner. Yeah, I think he's a tall corner, very physical at the line of scrimmage. I think that was my style of game right there. I think that would be my person of choice.
So Chris Dishman versus Gilmore. Who comes out on top?
Well, depending on the generation. Now he is because he's younger than me.
Mhm.
But I think in my prime, I have to say me.
All right. That's, you know, we have those conversations all the time, right? Jordan versus Kobe. But you always have to say so and so in their prime. It's not just any year. You have to be
Right.
particular.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's really important. Okay. All right. I might be going on left field, but here it is. Dancing with the Stars, Houston Oilers edition. Who in the locker room wins the trophy?
Oh, by far, EG.
Ernest Gibbons.
Yeah, by far.
Tell me why.
Because he can dance. You know what I'm saying? By far, either EG. I don't even know about anybody close to him. Yeah, by far, it got to be EG.
Okay? I know we're gonna rapid fire. You have to give me an EG dancing story from the locker room if you can share it on the Christian
the electric
station.
slide he's always doing. That and the latest dance that was always out at the time. I think by far it's EG.
So you never dance battled, EG?
No. And I was too stiff for that. Mine was the robot and the bump. Now the robot I can get him on. The robot and the bump I can get him on for sure.
But not even the electric slide. Come on, electric slide. Like you got to be able to get in there on the electric slide. No,
no, I can't do that one.
Oh my goodness,
it's asking for too much.
What Keith says, Billy White Shoes Johnson. That's what he puts in the comments for us. I don't personally know because, as you know, back in the day, women were not allowed really in the locker room. So we get locker room secrets right now to understand. So y'all actually have fun in the locker room. It just always wasn't.
It was always a charm, and that's one of the things when you retire. That's one of the things you miss is that camaraderie with your teammates of being in the locker room. Dancing, clowning, playing cards, just having a good old time. So that's one of the things you miss as far as the locker room is the camaraderie between each and every player.
So when you're in the locker room, I imagine that you have like a normal business schedule like anybody else. Your expectation is to be, at the facility at a certain time, and then you had meetings and whatnot to a certain time. Did you guys hang around after that? Is that where some of those fun moments happened, when it was either in between meetings or everything's done, but everybody's still having fun together?
It was more in between meetings, before you go out to practice, when you come back from practice, and after meetings sometimes, or in the weight room. It was just very spontaneous. It wasn't like a planned situation. Everything was very spontaneous.
So, Dancing with the Stars edition, any team you played for, who wins the trophy?
Wow, Washington, I gotta say D Green.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, D Green. Houston, I said EG. Kansas City, that's a tough one. I don't know. Gonzalez was a good dancer there. James Hasty was a good dancer. Eric Warfield was probably a good dancer there. So Kansas City there. Minnesota, of course, Randy gonna say it's him. Randy Moss gonna say it's him, but it probably was Dante Culpepper.
Okay, all right. So who wins the championship out of all your dancing MVPs that you just called out?
Oh, thinking back, I gotta say it has to come down between Culpepper and Ernest.
Okay.
And I think EG get it with a backflip, electric slide, and the moonwalk.
Backflip, electric slide, and the moonwalk.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy. Well, that must have been a fun time in the locker room. That is for sure. Okay. Here is another one. In the late 80s and early 90s, Houston sports was on fire. I remember it. I was a part of it. Like, to me, you become a Houston sports fan during that time. You know, like, there's just no way that you cannot like Houston. Even if you claim you have another team, like, there's no way that, like, you're gonna fire and divorce what other teams you thought you liked, because Houston was on fire. You had summer 86, the Rockets make it to the finals, play the Celtics, lose four games to 2, but then go on 94-95 and win the championship. Fall 1986, Astros are 1 game away from the World Series, and that last game went to 16 innings against the Mets. I'm not saying I remember it. I'm not saying my heart's still hurting, but when Kevin Bass went up there on that last at bat, I was actually late for practice because of it. Yeah, I'm a super fan. Okay, 1993, Oilers are a game away from the Super Bowl. All right. And you guys know that had the Oilers gone, they would have beat Dallas. Don't, as AJ says, don't at me on that. I am serious. That's what would have happened. All right. So will Houston have another sports trifecta?
Yes, they would. I believe in Houston. The fans have always been great. Great thing about me coming from Louisville into Houston, that the fans was very good to the Oilers. They was very good to the Astros, the Rockets. You know, they just love their sports. So yeah, I think they will have another trifecta soon.
Okay. All right. Well, I gotta play some music. Okay. This is important. Now, this song is called Big Rings by Drake. And the reason that I say big rings is because the man coming to the mic that's coming on to the lunch break Freestyle Friday has one of those big rings from college. So I'm going to give you a little bit of info, see if you can guess. If you're not watching, then you're not sure who it is. Born in Georgia and raised in Florida. Person has a 4-year letterman at the University of Miami, earned a national championship ring as a starter on the undefeated 1987 squad under former head coach Jimmy Johnson. Yes, he came from royalty. Drafted by NFL's Houston Oilers in 1989. In his final season, he was selected as the Houston Oilers NFL Man of the Year for his work in the community. He played his last season on the inaugural roster for the Carolina Panthers. He is currently the interim, I say that quietly, head coach of Prairie View A&M University. You guys, you know I'm talking about Bubba McDowell. How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing, lady?
I am fantastic. It is good to talk
Rag,
to
what up, man?
Instead of yelling out on speakerphone when Chris is talking to you. You see your buddy over here?
Hey, bro, I saw you calling me, and I was gonna pick up the phone, but I would have got chastised if I would have picked up the phone.
No, don't do that, man. You did the right thing.
Pick it up.
That's right, because after this, there is, he can't get in trouble or get rewarded. I'm just saying. I'm gonna put it out there.
Just saying.
I'm just saying. Well, welcome on behalf of the original host, AJ Jones. Welcome to Freestyle Friday on KYOK AM 1140 92.3. Bubba, I want to play the numbers game with you. So I've talked to you in all kinds of different ways. So it's hard sometimes, right? When you think you know somebody, and then you say, but you have no idea, right?
Right.
All right. I'm gonna play the numbers game with you for a second. All right. And the magic number is 7. You were drafted number 77. You played for 7 seasons in the NFL. No.
Yeah. I'm just saying, you're right. You're on it.
You played as number 25. I'm gonna go ahead and add 2 + 5 together and make that 7. Okay. So we still on the 7th thing. Now you don't get to do all those things by luck. So we can say Lady Luck in the 7s. You don't do all that by luck. You don't win a national championship. You don't get to play with amazing coaches and players and have the respect of fans and community by luck. So if you had to give somebody or several somebody's credit for all of the things that you've accomplished through football, who would you give credit to?
First and foremost, Almighty God. As you mentioned, I wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't for him. A guy that didn't even like football, and then being able to be in the position that I am today because of football, that says a whole lot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, this one, I feel like I could tell his story like the back of my hand. And so one thing Chris always talks about is the benefit of having a break in between playing and actually coaching. And so
Yeah.
tell me about, this, what the break did for you, and when did the bug tap you and say, this is something I want to do?
Well, the break is huge because again, it gives you a chance, gives your body chance to recruit, and I say more of a mentally to recruit, should I say, and just get back to just normalization. Just because again, you just can't be all. And I know a lot of people say it all the time, but if you just continuously just do business, and no time to relax and have fun, and it really doesn't give you an opportunity to sit back, think about what you did wrong, what you can do better, and just and be more and become more creative. Because again, you want to be creative as you just continue to do whatever it is that you're doing, whether it be football, any kind of sports, or life itself.
Mhm. And so you get tapped, and now you got the coaching bug. And so, did it feel good to be on the other side? Was it weird?
It was weird, yeah, it was weird. But I said I would never coach. I said I would never coach, only because of what being on the professional level and college level and seeing the time that it takes to coach, and I said, especially when I first had Trey, my oldest one, and I was like, nah, I ain't gonna do that. Then all of a sudden, Alonzo Highsmith, he said, hey, man, give it a try, give it a try. I said, nah. He said, well, go ahead, intern over at Texas Southern, So we did that, and I watched that. So I did it for about 4 years, and training kids on the side, with that as well. And all of a sudden, there goes the bug. Now I'm coaching. I want to do it full time now.
Very good. And you're hooked. And you're so hooked that you're in
I'm
your
good.
11th. It's the 11th season at Prairie View A&M.
Yes, ma'am. 11th
All right.
season,
Which
absolutely, yes.
11th season, currently the interim head coach. Feel free if there's an announcement you want to make. I will pass the mic to you. We will mute ourselves if that's what's necessary. If you'd like to make an announcement,
I would love to. I
not
would love to
not
make
yet.
an
Well,
official.
say one more
No,
time.
I would. No, no. I would love to make it official, but we're gonna wait and see till we figure out what's happening here. Hopefully, I
I
can give
see.
you guys some good news later on. Later on, probably no later than Monday. So.
Okay, all right. Well, while we're waiting for that, Coach Chris Dishman could give an on-air recommendation. Coach Dishman, what's your recommendation for Prairie View A&M and what they should do for head coach?
Well, I don't want to, say too much, but Bubba
No,
is the
say
guy.
it.
Bubba is the guy after the first coach, the second coach, and the third coach. What Bubba brings to the table is not only a good coach uh, mentally, but spiritually, not only and physically. He know all facets of the game. So he's intelligent, players respecting, and he was always the player coach on the field. So I know a lot of times on the field he got me out of some jams, and that's why I respect him, man, because he's always, because he knew exactly when I was going to squat or when I was going to do something, and he had my back for the double move or anything like that. So most of Bubba interceptions came off of me squatting. So, but I respect Bubba a lot, not only as a friend, as a person, but as a godly man and as a coach. He have worked hard. He don't complain. He just go and do his job. And I think as a coach, that's what you respect. Just go do your job. And that's what you want your players to do. And that's why the players respect him so much.
All right, absolutely. Well, I can tell you from my personal experience watching you, Bubba. Now, is it Coach Bubba? Is it Coach McDowell? What is it? Because the name, what we call coaches, has now
Whatever.
become sensitive.
Yeah, whatever easy for you guys. I mean, like I said, I'm not your name for whatever name you want to give me. That's suitable, for the audience. That's fine.
Got you. Well, you a head coach in my eyes because I watch You interact with the students, with the athletes. I watch the parents that have a great level of respect. I mean, these parents, while they're sending you adults, they're still their babies. And what I love is your mentorship that I see happens with these players, because these are going to be young men that will be productive in their communities wherever they go back to. And so I really appreciate that as a parent, because that's who you feel comfortable sending your child to. So, all right, Prairie View A&M. I just want to make sure we got these on air recommendations.
Yeah, go Bub.
All right, so to play or to not have played, that's kind of the question. You know, you've heard the controversy. I'm sure you've read the articles where some people feel it's not necessary to have your college coach have played in the NFL, and some feel like it's a tremendous advantage. I will tell you my take. I think it is a tremendous advantage to have the coach that's in college having played at the professional level. From my perspective, the coach I'm following, they're leading me. So I want to know that you're going to lead me where you've been, where you have connections, what you have experienced, not seen on TV. And so that would be my perspective. If I had a son to put into football, I would definitely want his college coach to have played in the pros, because there's just some things that cannot be learned through books and through watching documentaries. What do you feel about that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You hit it on the head, because again, these kids are following someone that they trust, more importantly, and for us as coaches to put in all this time coaching, mentoring, day in, day out. This is what we do as coaches. We want to make sure at the end of the day that these young men and women that are following us, as you said earlier, when we take these kids from their parents, we're their parents away from home, and it is our duty. It's our duty to make sure that these young men and women are prepared not only for the sports that they're coming to play, but be ready to go academically and athletically on and off the field on a daily basis. Because again, at the end of the day, when the sport is done, how well have you done in that classroom to help yourself ready for life? And I believe that as coaches or someone who has played this game for minute and played in it and coached in it, been around it for a long time, it is very, very vital that, if I'm going to have someone follow me, let me reverse that. If I'm going to follow somebody on the next level and try to figure out whether or not that young man or young woman as a coach lead to a successful life on the playing field or court as well as off, you better believe I'm gonna follow them. But that's why I always tell my kids, I said, guys, great opportunity for you guys to get something done. And if you're good enough, they know me, I always shoot them straight. If you're good enough to do this game and you are there making plays, this is a great opportunity. God has put you in a place, not only just the athletic part of it, but the mental part of it, being able to be mentored by certain people that's going to help you continue to get to where you need to get to, that make a lot of money for yourself, you and your family, and more important these days, be able to take care of that money.
Absolutely. Coach Dishman, is it important?
Yes, it is very important. Is it a must? No, but it is important to have someone there that that's been there, have laid the groundwork for you, and also can tell you about their mistakes, not only what they done right, but we tell guys what we done wrong. Yeah, I done this, I done that, but I'm telling you my wrongs, so therefore my wrongs won't be your wrongs, and that you can learn from me, from my mistakes, and able to help you in the future. I tell my guys I'm a life coach, so don't call me a football coach. I'm a life coach. I'm gonna be there for life. My number won't change. I'm gonna be there for you. I still got guys today that I coached in college. They still calling me. We still have the same group chat, and other teams I've coached, we still have group chat and stuff like that with the guys and still in communication with them. So the players may leave physically away from you, but mentally and spiritually, they still with you. They're going to always be your players, and you're going to always be their coach. So that's what a life coach is.
Absolutely. Well, I will tell you by observation, what I also see as the value is the connections that you all have, the relationships, right? You can pick up some of your friends that were your friends when you were playing that are still in the sport, and they now may be at ABC team, XYZ team. You can start to have conversations and stay on trend for what teams are looking for when scouts are coming. Some of you guys' friends are scouts. That's very helpful when you can look up and really make meaningful connections, or when those scouts can call you and they can trust what you say because they know you and they know that you're not going to just say any old thing to try to get your guy in the lights. That those relationships are important, and you just can't manufacture that. So, okay, Bubba, I have some rapid fire questions. You came in on Chris's rapid fire questions. Are you ready for some rapid fire questions? Uh-oh, he may have frozen on us.
Yeah.
I think he is. Okay.
Can you hear one thing I want to say? And I'm a shout out to Alonzo Highsmith, because just listen to Bubba saying that how Alonzo asked him to coach. Alonzo was also a key opponent of getting me to coach also. I trained guys, and he like, man, you might as well go ahead and coach, because Alonzo was scouting at the time. And Alonzo Highsmith have had his hand in a lot of coaches, because he got Bubba to coach and ended up getting me to coach.
All right, Bubba, are you back? You're sitting so still. You might be frozen again on us. Okay, Bubba might be frozen.
Okay,
okay. I got you. I have some rapid fire. Yep, I can hear you.
Hello.
I have some rapid fire questions for you. Are you ready for some of those? There we go. Are you ready for some rapid fire questions?
Going in and out of them.
Okay, well, I tell you what. Why don't we do?
It might be more me in the building.
Bub must be in the weight room. Bub, you in the weight room?
Okay. Let me see if I. Let me see.
Okay,
no.
It's all good. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm gonna take you off, Bubba, for just a second. So I'll let you just get reconnected. And what we'll do is we're going to run to commercial. And when we come back, we'll see if we can catch up to some rapid fire questions with Bubba and get to the rest of our schedule. Stay tuned. You are on the lunch break, Freestyle Friday on the legendary KYOK AM 1140 92.3 FM. I'm Dr. J, and this is Chris Dishman.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's AJ Jones with the lunch break on the legendary KYOK AM 1140 and 92.3 FM. It's that time of year when we are reminded of all the things we should be thankful for, and that it's more blessed to give than to receive. So with that in mind, on Wednesdays from now through Christmas, we'll give you a chance to win a gift certificate from Butterball. That's right. You can win a gift certificate for a Butterball turkey on Wednesdays on the lunch break between 12 and 2. Just be the right caller, and your Butterball turkey will be on us at the legendary KYOK AM 1140 at 92.3 FM.
Aldine AFT presents a grand gift giveaway. It's a drive-through holiday event. Hi, this is Eugene Johnson with Man to Man Let's Talk.
Hi, this is Shy from Shiloh Radio and the legendary KYOK. Join us Saturday, December 18th from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, broadcasting live from Aldine AFT office located at 1404 North Sam Houston Parkway East. We will be giving away free HEB gift cards, turkeys, holiday gifts, and more while supplies last.
And it's open to the community. That's Saturday, December 18th, 10 a.m. to 12 noon at Aldine AFT office, 1404 North Sam Houston Parkway East.
That's right. Come on by and drive through and get these holiday treats and kick off Christmas with Aldine AFT and the legendary KYOK. We'll see you there.
Okay.
All right, we are back. Bubba, we got you back on.
Yeah.
Oh, that picture's in HD now. We got you in HD. I like it. I
He
like
had-
when you're in HD,
He had
Bubba.
some tech person helping with that.
Oh, no, I did. Like, where you at? Where you at, dude?
That's kind of like when players get hurt and they go off the field into the tent and they come back magically like wizards, warlocks, and everything else. Like prayed on them and they come back perfect. Bam, we got you. Well, good, because there are some rapid fire questions that I wanted that I want to ask you. So are you ready for those?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right. The favorite bowl game that you played in?
Favorite ball game is actually Oklahoma. Neither one of them.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Everybody loves to compare players versus others. Who did you pattern your game after?
Chris Dishman.
That's a great answer.
You're right.
All right. Every generation makes an athletic twin, in my opinion, like a person who plays like you, who does the sport like you. Who is the Bubba McDowell twin in the NFL today?
I would say Honey Badger.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Dancing with the Stars, Houston Oilers edition. Who wins the trophy?
Bubba McDowell. I can go now. I can go.
Okay, you can go. All right. I heard a different answer from Chris, so we're gonna have to keep asking. We're asking everybody on the show this question. All right. In the late 80s and early 90s, Houston sports was on fire, in my opinion. You know, I was just a total super fan of everything Houston. In 86, the Rockets make it to the finals. They lose to the Celtics, but a few years later, 94, 95, they win the championship. Fall 86, the Astros are one game away playing the New York Mets to go to the World Series, and it was a 16-inning game. Oh, it hurt me so badly. Okay. In 1993, the Oilers are a game away from the Super Bowl. Oilers go to the Super Bowl. Dallas loses hands down. I don't even know if Dallas scores a point.
Yeah.
Don't at me. I said what I said. Will Houston sports ever have a trifecta where all the teams are just firing on all cylinders again?
I think we will. I really do. And I think because, again, it's just now just putting the right people in the right places to get the right athletes to do what it is they do best. And I truly believe we will get to that point again.
Okay,
But
awesome.
you forgot to put Bubba McDowell, head coach at Prairie View A&M, and they win the SWAC. That's going to be part of the. It's not a trifactor. What is the quad?
Quad factor. Yeah, the quad factor.
I like that.
I really like that. Well, Bubba, now do you have a little bit more time just to hang out? Because you know what?
Yeah.
Somebody else is coming on. I'm gonna take you down for a minute and bring our next guest into the studio. But I'd love for you to hang around for a little bit if you could.
But
Okay,
we have to,
sounds good.
just for a little bit. See this first.
All right. Okay. Well, guess what, guys? You know, it's just too much like right that the stars line up in the right way is so important. This man actually needs music. He needs music for his introduction. You probably see him on the screen right now, but I'm going to say a little bit about this man. Born and raised in St. Petersburg, Florida. He played college ball at Louisville. I'd make sure I say that right. In 1986, he was drafted by the Houston Oilers and went on to play a total of 10 seasons in the NFL, 9 with the Houston Oilers. As a self-proclaimed Oilers superfan myself, I always love watching this man play.
Hello?
He talked as fast as his feet
We have a
moved.
bad connection or something.
You see, he talking fast already while I'm trying to do his intro. Ladies and gentlemen, Ernest Givens. I don't know, Ernest, can you hear us?
I can hear you now, but I couldn't hear you earlier.
Well, I was saying all these wonderful things about you. So you're from St. Petersburg, Florida?
It's going in and out. Whatever you saying, and get a good feel back of what you.
Okay.
I don't know what you're saying.
Okay, well, I'm gonna take you out of the studio for a second.
I'm
gonna bring you back in to see if that helps. Can you hear us at all? Can you hear us, Ernest?
Yes, this is Ernest. I can hear you every now and then, but you're fading in and out.
Okay, all right.
Just piece it together, EG. Just piece just every other word, just piece it together and figure it out.
So for the fans
I
who are
can't hear
listening,
nothing. Can you guys hear me?
yes, we can hear you. We absolutely can hear you. We can hear you and we can see you. Here, I tell you
I
what,
can't
I'm
hear
gonna
you guys.
okay, I'm gonna take you out. I'm gonna kick him out. We're gonna kick him out of the studio. If you will message him, ask him to try to get back in. And while we're doing that, let me finish telling you a little bit about Ernest. Okay, so his style of play, I don't know if you guys really remember it, but remember the Astrodome was the eighth wonder of the world, also dubbed the House of Pain. And so he, to me, epitomized players that play in the House of Pain. Like he was just tough as nails. He's coached since actually leaving the game in a variety of football programs. He's not done with football yet. At the end of the day, he's absolutely not done with football yet. And we're happy to have Ernest join the show. Okay, Ernest Givens, can you hear us now?
No. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We absolutely can hear you.
Okay.
We sure can.
Okay. Well, I can't hear you because the phone, I guess the phone is going in and out. I can't hear you.
Okay, all right. Well, I tell you what, we'll see if we can get you back in a little bit later.
It's a bad connection. I can't.
Yep, that's all right. I'm gonna go ahead and drop you off now, Ernest. We'll see if we can get you back in to the show either later today or in a different show. Because you know what? We're doing this thing on Monday too. So you know what, Ernest, if you're available, we'll see if we can get it totally right. So that's all good. I'm gonna bring Bubba back on just for a second. Coach Bubba McDowell, the current interim head coach for Prairie View A&M University. Now we couldn't get Ernest on the line, but between you and Chris, I want to hear your favorite E.G. Ernest Givens story. I gotta hear it. Just gotta hear it.
Oh wow! I mean, do you have any, Rag? I mean,
my favorite story is the one he just got through now. Talking about, I can't hear y'all. Can you hear me? I said, Ernest, I can hear you. I can't hear y'all. Well, how you gonna not hear us and talk to us like you can't hear us? Wow. But yes, still you answer the question. That's my favorite one right now.
That's pretty good one. That is a pretty good one. Man.
Well, I mean, I will share.
I
go ahead.
would probably say the one that I that really comes to mind. I think one day, Rag, if you remember, we was at practice and we was just talking about who's the fastest, because we used to do battle all the time. I truly believe that's why we were so good on both sides, because we gave each other really good competition. But that particular day, it was talking about who was the fastest, and Lamar Lathan, who was a linebacker. How Lamar about 240, right? Huh, Rag?
Yeah, it's about 240. Yeah.
They wanted to race, and they were just talking about how fast they were. Oh man! And when they lined up, and LL, we call him, got out there and took off and got them all, because they couldn't say nothing. They couldn't say anything. You got a 240 linebacker outrunning wide receivers. Couldn't say anything, but it was all kind of excuses how he won. Should I say how he won?
I say that actually made Ernest Givens quiet. That's a story in and of itself.
It is. But I'm sure he got many, along with his electric slides, pregame, electric slide moments. But yeah, that one stuck out of my mind for now that you mentioned it.
Yeah, it's so many numerous of games that I'm sorry to cut you off, Bub. There's so many numerous of games that Ernest Givens played in. Got hit and tackled, and his body just flip around and do this, and you'd be like, "Oh, he's not getting back up." He get back up. He get hit and flipped around, and again, and he said, "Oh, he's not going to get back up on this one." He get back up. Ernest probably one of the toughest receivers that I have played. I say played against because we practiced against him, and every day at practice was a game for us.
Mm-hmm.
We had that's how, as Bub talking about how competitive we were. I didn't want Ernest to catch the ball. He didn't want me to defend him. I didn't want Haywood to catch the ball. Bubba didn't want no one to catch the ball on us. And like Bubba said, that's why we had such great teams, because of our competitive. We was very competitive. We was very didn't want no one to outshine us or embarrass us. We had a lot of pride on that team.
Absolutely. Well, I'll share my earnest giving story because believe it or not, I'm a part of the story, or else I'm gonna make myself a part of it. So I'm gonna give the exact date: December 2nd, 1991, Monday Night Football, dubbed the House of Pain game. This was Philadelphia Eagles versus my Houston Oilers. And this was a tough game, okay? It was a low scoring game. I feel like it was just a game of defense, to be honest with you. By halftime, first of all, the QB for the Eagles is done. So now you have the second string, McMahon. He gets hurt right at the start of the third quarter. The Oilers are up 3-0. Okay, all of these things are happening. So now the Eagles are down to their third string. But all of a sudden, that doggone defense, and let's see, who was it? Andre Waters comes across and cracks Ernest Givens. Now, the reason this is important is because I was at the game. I was on the field. I was a part of the cheerleading staff. That's a long story. Let me just say there were no Derek Dawes at that point. So there were fill-ins, and I was a fill-in that day on Monday Night Football. All right. So when Ernest comes off the field, I felt like there were 62,141 fans in that stadium. I felt like it was just me and Ernest because he was walking right toward me and his nose was bleeding like a faucet. And I thought to myself, oh God, he's done. He's done. The ambulance is about to come and get him. We will not see him again for the rest of the game. There was no tent back then. All of a sudden, I turned my back because, I'm supposed to be there cheering with fans. I look back because I'm really watching the game. They have shoved cotton up his nose and he is putting his helmet on to go back into the game. And I just thought to myself, this man is the toughest man on earth. And that's the one thing I told my family when the game was over. They're like, how was it? I was like, that's all I could talk about because I just couldn't believe he looked like he was about to flatline as far as I was concerned. And he understood the assignment. The game was not over and he was trying to play a very big part in it. And so I appreciated that as a super fan and a super competitor. That's what I loved about the Oilers the most, hands down, is that you had super competitors, that people just won't quit. And mind you, on that game, that was a loss. That wasn't a win.
No, I think we lost that.
Yeah, it was a low scoring game when it's all said and done. And, the Eagles talk junk, but I don't care because super fans, we don't care about the wins and the losses at the end of the day. We care about seeing our players get out there. I'm going to see if I can bring Ernest back in. Let's see if I can get him back on. Ernest, can you hear us now? Ernest?
Hello?
Yeah, we might have a connection issue. I tell you what, Ernest.
I don't know if you can hear me, but I hear now.
Okay, all right. I'm going to take you back out.
But I can't.
Okay. All right. I'm taking you back out of the stream because you sounded like I need to be doing the robot. So this is what we're going to do. Bubba, first of all, thank you so much, Bubba, for joining us. Ernest, thank you so much for trying. We will get you back on where we have a good feed for you. Bubba, how can people keep in touch with you so we can be ready to hear any announcements that you might need to make?
Well, you can hit me on Twitter. That's my only social media deal. At McDowell_Bubba. You can hit me there. I will respond. I truly thank you guys for having me on.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we are about to go on the top of the hour break, about 9 minutes after the top of the hour. This is the lunch break. Freestyle Friday on the legendary KYOK AM 1140 92.3 FM. You guys, is about to get real.
The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the hosts, guests, and callers who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
When you walk out on that field today, ask yourself this question. What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We ready! We ready! We ready! We ready! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house!
When I
I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it. It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We ready. Let's go to the house. Let's go to the house. We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how like we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up your chin straps. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from him. He's a man. They can be hit just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war out there. When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We ready. Let's go to the house. Let's go to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
It's a wrap. Game over, lunch breakers. This is the Lunch Break Freestyle Friday on the legendary KYOK AM 1140 and 92.3 FM. I'm not AJ Jones. I'm the other J, Dr. J, Jennifer Dr. J Thibeaux, and I have the legendary Chris Dishman in the Bradenton, Florida studio.
Yes, indeed. I'd like to shout out to all the people in Louisville who's watching. Love you guys. Keep on watching.
Absolutely. So if you were logged in the first hour, we had Coach Bubba McDowell on the show, just giving us just pearls of wisdom and hope and a view into the future. Currently the interim head coach at Prairie View A&M University. And you know what? I would really like to see Bubba as named as the head coach. Like it feels right. I don't know. Like it's just my total gut. It's in my total spirit.
Well, someone 11 years, been through 3 head coaches. His time is now. It's time for him to be the head coach. It's time for them to name him and let him get out recruiting. Bubba will be a heck of a recruiter out on the road. He will get a lot of guys wanting to play for him just because of his personality. He got ties in Texas, got ties in Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, Tennessee. So and just get the surrounding people and just have some of the players in Texas stay in Texas and have some of the players in Houston stay in Houston. That's where you can get most of your guys, and just stay here in Houston and take that hour trip to Prairie View, because it's a good educational school. So you can't complain about the education. It's a good educational school, and HBCU can get you where you want to go. If it's want to get into the league, you have a guy who's been there, done that, and he have connections around the league that can, hey, come and see this player here, come and see this guy here. He's have the credibility that a scout will come and see the player, all because of his credibility, not because you get there and the guy's supposed to be 6 feet and he's 5'2", or something like that. But
that never happens, right?
Yeah, all the time. So say run a 4.340 and runs a 4.6,
right?
Because his girlfriend timed him. So Bubba should be the next head coach of Prairie View and A&M. And like I said, I know I said that jokingly about them winning the national championship, but I think if them want to win the SWAC championship, it runs through Bubba McDowell.
I completely agree with you. Now, one thing that I've always said when I look at you guys, right? I don't know if your group that you still kind of roll with and keep in touch with, I don't know if y'all all got together and said, we're just going to stay in amazing shape, or if it's just the ones in shape just hang together. But like literally, you guys look like you could be on the field. And I know people ask you that, Chris, all the time. And so tell everyone, how is it that you are your playing weight right now, 20 years after retirement?
Well, I ended up going vegan. I went to a vegan lifestyle, which has been tremendous for me. I watched my numbers, and all my numbers have went down. And it's just been great. You know, I have a fabulous cook in the house who season the food and make everything taste like you are eating what meat, but it's really not meat. And it helps me physically and mentally. You know, I get up from the table, I don't feel sluggish, I don't feel like I'm about to go and lay down and take a 2 hour nap. I have energy, and it's just better. And then I'm making my own juice now. I stopped buying, well, as you know, we stopped buying juices at the store. We make our own juice. We get our carrots and apples and pears and stuff from the grocery store and make it the natural juices, and it gives a good blend and good taste. You know, and I just as you know, I just watch what I eat. I try to be very conscious of what I put in my body, so therefore my body can continues to take care of me more than anything. And plus, I don't want to be the when I get with Bubba, Ernest, and Haywood and all those guys. I don't want to be the guy everybody talk about. Everybody, so, ooh, did you see? Do you see Dish over there? Ooh, he a gay weight. Ooh, is this happening? Because
Y'all don't do that, do you
oh
guys?
yes, they do. All of them do. So it'll be. I'm sorry we had technical difficulties, but I wish we could have got Ernest on with us because he also had someone in the car with him. Hayward Jeffries was in the car with him. Also was going to join the show, but hopefully they can get back on Monday. Because having those two together on a show, oh, it'd be a charm.
But we got to get the audio right. That's for sure. Because I don't want to miss not a one word that either of those two are saying. Well, I'm gonna ask you a question I was going to ask Ernest, and we'll ask him again, and we'll compare notes to see if you get this right. For according to Ernest, the relationship with Ernest and Warren Moon, I always felt like the quarterback receiver relationship is special, right? If they're clicking, the chances are the balls are being thrown well, they're being caught, there's production out there on the field. To me, as a super fan, it seemed like that was happening. Like, what was their relationship?
Well, I don't really want to speak on that, but I know if Ernest still acting crazy, Warren just throw it to Haywood. Or if Haywood act crazy, Warren just throw it to Willie Drury. We had Pat Coleman, we had Tony Jones, we had Drew Hill. So those receivers couldn't pretty much give Warren too much lip because Warren just start throwing to the other guy. And then if all the receivers give Warren lip, he just handed off to a guy like a Mike Rozier, Alonzo Highsmith, Gary Brown, Lorenzo White, Alan Pinkett, and should I go on? But, you know,
the Oilers had options,
right? So those receivers couldn't give Warren too much lip because he was just going to give to the next guy. And that's the good thing about having so many good options Warren had and so many good players that, you know, one guy's not feeling it today, he give it to the next guy.
Now, did it seem weird? Like when I put all of your playing times side by side, I start seeing after 93, the roster starts going through significant changes, right? Did it start to feel weird to you? Because you were with the Oilers till 96. So you had to bid farewell to the Bubbas. You had to bid farewell to Ernest. You were still there. Did it seem strange to no longer have some of the people that were really your close buddies no longer on the team?
It was strange, but in this business, you have to get used to that. Either you change or someone else change. You know, either I go to another team or someone else come here. So I always said the Oilers had to play someone else. The Oilers can't play the Oilers. You know,
True.
So in today's sports, you get used to it. You get used to change and adapt. You have to adapt to each and every situation because of, you know, the player may be here tomorrow and gone and cut, and then a player who's cut may spend a week or two at home and then he's brought back. So it's always an up and down. It's always a roller coaster, and your emotions can't get into it. And just got to realize that business decisions are being made, and you can't do nothing about it anyway. The decision is made, and you just have to go with the punches.
All right, so we're going to go on a quick break because I got to get a sponsor in. But when we come back, while we're waiting for our next guest to join, there's a story I want you to tell the lunch breakers. And this is the story of training camp when that knock sometimes comes on the door. And I want, you don't have to name names. Definitely, we don't have to name names, but people have got to hear this story. You're listening to the Lunch Break Freestyle Friday on the legendary KYOK AM 1140, 92.3 FM. We'll be right back.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's AJ Jones with the lunch break on the legendary KYOK AM 1140 and 92.3 FM. It's that time of year when we are reminded of all the things we should be thankful for and that it's more blessed to give than to receive. So with that in mind, on Wednesdays from now through Christmas, we'll give you a chance to win a gift certificate from Butterball. That's right, you can win a gift certificate for a Butterball turkey on Wednesdays on the lunch break between 12 and 2. Just be the right caller, and your Butterball turkey will be on us at the legendary KYOK AM 1140 at 92.3 FM.
All right, we are back. We are back. And guess what, guys? It's a story you just have to hear. These are the things that you don't hear when you're just watching on television as your team is starting to get back in preseason. Chris Dishman, share with us really quick your camp story. Don't name names.
Okay. Well, my rookie year in San Marcos, every time that a player get cut, they have one of the GAs or the younger coaches come around and knock on the door and ask you. It's early, always early in the morning. Come around, knock on the door, and ask you to come and meet the head coach and bring your playbook. If you have those words talk to you, come see the head coach, bring your playbook. You know it's time. Your time is ending. So me and my roommate heard I knock on the door. And I was about to get up and answer, and he told me, no, don't answer the door. He said, they're trying to cut one of us. So neither one of us answered the door. And we were sitting there. Then I came to mind. I realized, I said, hold on, we got to leave this room sooner or later. So one of us got to get cut, and we have to answer the door. So eventually we end up answering the door, and thank God it wasn't me. So I know the story sounds cruel, but that's why it is.
But 13 years later, you didn't get that knock.
It is, but I don't know if they still have them coming around knocking on the door. We used to call them the Grim Reapers. You just come down and knock on the door and tell you the head coach want to see you and bring your playbook.
Wow. Okay. Well, you know what? Our special guest is here, so I do not want to delay. But every superhero needs some theme music, and this is no different. I'm giving some California theme music, and let me tell you why. Our next guest, born and raised in California, played football at Washington, Pac-8 Co-Player of the Year in 1977. 1978 undrafted, but the passport got stamped all the way to Edmonton, Canada. Played for the Edmonton Eskimos, 5 Grey Cup championships. CFL's most outstanding player in 1983. Y'all, that's like the MVP, okay? Then enter the NFL chapter. Houston Oilers, 84-93. Minnesota Vikings, 94-96. Seattle Seahawks, 97-98. Kansas City Chiefs, 99-2000. NFL Offensive Player of the Year, 1990. Walter Payton Man of the Year, 1989. 9-time Pro Bowler, 2-time NFL Passing Leader. NFL Passing Touchdowns Leader, 1990. Tennessee Titans #1, his number retired. Titans Oilers Ring of Honor. Bart Starr Award in 1994. If you're doing the math, that's 93 seasons, you guys. 93 seasons, but that's literally only a part of this man's life. And so if you are not a sports fan, then you can just get off now. Because if you don't know who I'm talking about, then you need to just zip and listen. Because, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Warren Moon. Oh, let's see. You might be muted. Let me make sure your mic is off.
Dog, what's up, my man? How you doing?
Let's see. I think you're muted for some reason.
Can you hear us?
Yep. Okay.
Warren, how you doing? Thanks for coming on with us today. We appreciate you.
Oh, we still can't hear. For some reason, we can't hear you. Let's see. Got your mic muted. Let me unmute you. Oh, it says your mic is not connected. That's what it's got right now. That's okay. I'm gonna have you leave the studio and just come right back in, and that might reconnect your microphone. All right. So Warren's gonna come back in. 23 years. Chris, look, you had 13, and I know that's a lot. Can you imagine 23 years?
No, I can't. But you're talking about a person who kept himself in shape. Warren was such a hard worker, and I know from afar I used to look at him go in the weight room. I used to look at him stretch. I used to look at him how he took care of his body after he got off the field. You know, Warren used to go and lift weights. He used to lift weights before practice. I used to see him go in there and lift weights and do something after practice. And his work ethic as a professional uh, player, not a pro, as a professional player, really helped me in my young career. Seeing someone like that really escalated me to do what he did because of his work ethics on and off the field of keeping himself in shape and being a professional.
Absolutely. Warren, can you hear us and can we hear you? That's the most important. I think your mic is muted. Might be having a connection issue. Yep. I think your mic might not be connected. All right, we're gonna keep talking and see if we can get this resolved for you. Well, let's see. Can you say nope? Still don't hear you. All right, we'll keep trying it. I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna kick you all the way out of the studio and see if you can come right back in. All right, he kicked himself out. No offense, I would never kick Warren Moon out of the studio, but we definitely want to hear his pearls of wisdom. Again, Chris, come on, Warren Moon, he's in amazing shape. So if there was a Legends League, so you're not playing against the 20-year-olds, you're playing against your age. Would you do a Legends League? Would you play in it?
Mentally, I would like to.
Okay.
But physically, I think that I wouldn't do it for the fear of, I've been very blessed to have played so long and not have any career-ending injuries. And the fear of getting an injury this late of Achilles or a knee or a shoulder or something like that surgery, I think I wouldn't play in it all because of the fear factor of getting hurt. And I know you can get hurt any way possible, anyway, but I just wouldn't play in it just because of that factor right there of getting a serious injury. And then I had to go to surgery, got to do the rehab and do all that. So I will coach. I will coach and let someone else take the
I'm laughing because
opportunity.
you took it all the way to surgery and
Yeah,
rehab.
yeah.
You just assume that it's gonna end badly.
The way I feel sometimes in the morning, I feel
Oh no,
like
you
that.
juicing. You vegan, you juicing.
my
We have no
juicing
time
is
for
good.
that. You are juicing, no time for that. Well, while Warren gets back on, this is the story I wanted to share. So I'm gonna share it while we wait for Warren to get back on. Everyone wants to talk about the 1993 game with Bills versus the Oilers, and you want to talk about it from this comeback. But let me talk about it from a different perspective, because one of the reasons why I was so excited to have Warren on was really to tell him thank you, even for that game where I know a lot of super fans probably never thought they would say the words thank you, but I mean it from the bottom of my heart. That game was played in January 3rd, 1993, and we were so nervous as a family that we didn't even want to watch the game in the same room. So we were all in different rooms. And every time a touchdown happened, which, as you know, touchdowns happened a lot. See if I can get Warren on. As you know, touchdowns happened a lot during that game. Every time touchdowns happened, my dad comes out into the main area and he's doing the craziest of touchdown dances, right? And yes, that game did not give Houston fans the outcomes that they said they wanted, but it gave me a lifetime of watching my dad have this just pure joy during the game. And you fast forward, my dad wound up passing away that year, but that's a gift that I always have because of the product that the Oilers put out on the field. It brings fans together, family and friends and fans. And so years later, no matter what the W's and the L's were, that's what fans, if they can look at the bigger picture, can appreciate is the football product that comes out on the field, is that it's job creation, right? Like, how many jobs did the Houston Oilers create? Seriously.
Well, you're talking about 57 players, coaches, equipment, trainers, vendors at the stadium, parking attendants. It's you're talking about so many other people that's involved. And that year, those years that Houston didn't have a football team, all the vendors and the parking attendants and all those people lost their revenue of possible second income, or probably some was the first income of feeding their families. So football and sports in general, not just football, basketball, baseball, and other sports. Sports in general produce a lot of jobs for a lot of people.
Mhm. Preach, preach. Okay. So while we work with Warren Moon to get him back and get some of the technical things straight, we are going to flip to commercial. You've been listening to the Lunch Break Freestyle Friday on the legendary KYOK AM 1140 92.3 FM.
I am Jacqueline Carr, and here is your winning strategy. Learning to save $2 or $3 out of every $10 was one of the lessons my parents shared with me. They wanted us to start early, teaching how to save so that we could break the curse of living from paycheck to paycheck and borrowing to make ends meet. My parents said that finances are a struggle for people, even good people. They wanted us to appreciate the finances we had, but also have wisdom of spending it. I had to learn it as a child that even though my parents gave me a roof over my head, food to eat, and clothes to wear, if I wanted to go to the movies or skating, I had to save money for those things. I began to encourage myself to save money. I learned that youth respond better if we challenge them even at a young age to learn how to manage every dollar they get.
Welcome to Allstate, where we've just lowered our auto rates. And savings like that will have you jumping for joy. Now get new lower auto rates with Allstate, because better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click or call for a lower auto rate today.
All right, lunch breakers, we are back. This is the Lunch Break Freestyle Friday on the legendary KYOK AM 1140 92.3 FM. Listen, we're getting Warren Moon back connected. You know, sometimes you got to hit reset and do all those things. And that's so fascinating to me because that's a part of his career. Saying, wait a minute, if I have troubles, let me hit reset and try to do this a different way. That's what I love about looking at his journey. But speaking of journeys, Chris, you and I watched Colin in black and white on Netflix. It was produced by Ava DuVernay. It was a series. It had like several episodes.
Yes,
it was like a limited series, maybe about 5 or 6 episodes. We watched it straight through. Like, so this is what we do. Okay. If you wonder, pandemic, we have become expert serial watchers. Well, first of all, I know I was shocked, and you and I talked about this. I was shocked to see the documentary because my expectation was that it was going to be Colin the adult and covering, some of the parts of his journey and, kind of in a documentary format. But it was the opposite. It was like before you saw the guys that was kneeling on the sidelines, is showing you the things about him from middle school and high school. And like, I never thought about that. Like, did you even think about potentially what his struggle or not was prior to him becoming the QB for the 49ers?
No, I didn't know nothing about that. But, like I said, with every person has a struggle. And you can be as famous as you want to. The Michael Jordans, the Muhammad Ali, everyone, black, white, everyone have a struggle, had a struggle. And it was so great to see Colin's story from when he was young and when everybody told him no, when people try to switch him to receiver or running back or DB. But he held his ground and said, no, I'm a quarterback. And that's his will of strong will, letting people know, no, I'm a quarterback, and like I said, it probably wasn't easy back then. He was an African American getting raised by white parents. The struggle of that, of everybody looking at him and treating him different than what they treat his parents, and that scene in the elevator. I don't know how true or untrue it was, but that scene in the elevator of him walking in an elevator with his parents and the guy asking his parents, "Are you guys going to be okay with this 13-year-old black guy who's in the elevator with him?" So it's just goes to show the prejudice and the bigotry that's out there. It is still out there today.
And it comes to attack our young men, and they have to be ready. And you know what I was so interested in, I didn't realize that Colin Kaepernick was this big baseball player. He had offers from everywhere. They thought he needed to go ahead and just go straight to the MLB, but he wanted to play football, and particularly he wanted to be a QB, and he kept pushing and persisting. And that's what I thought was so interesting. I'm gonna see, Warren, I'm gonna put you back in the studio. Can you hear us?
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
All right. Yes. Yes. Action.
Technology, man. You know, technology. You just never know what it's gonna do, and you just kind of at its mercy all the time.
Absolutely. Well, you know, as you jumped out of the studio to hit reset, I made the comment that this is so on par with your life. If something gives you some trouble spot, you just hit reset and try a different path, and
So
you go.
you look for a different opportunity, and you go after it.
And it's tend to work out pretty well for you. So we were talking about Colin Kaepernick, and Chris and I had just really learned his story of middle school, high school, and him persisting to stay as a QB, even despite the lack of offers, you know, going to college, even despite all of the naysayers and critics wanting him to switch positions, even as he was looking to go to the NFL. And that story is so important. It has to be told, because if not, it will continue to be repeated. But before the Colin Kaepernicks of the world were having those tough conversations, you know, at them, you had those conversations. So tell us a little bit about what your journey was, playing high school to college to switching to going to the professional ranks.
Yeah, mine was a little different than Colin's because things had changed a little bit more by the time Colin came out of school. So there were a lot more African-American quarterbacks in the league at that time. Guys were getting a few more opportunities. But when I came in, basically when I came to the Houston Oilers, I was the only black quarterback in the league besides our third quarterback, Brian Ransom. There was no other African-American quarterbacks in the league at that time. So Doug Williams was over in the USFL. I think Vince Evans was in the USFL. All the other guys that had been African Americans had all left the league and went to the USFL. So I was kind of that lone guy, except for me and Brian on the same team. But you know, coming out of high school, it was tough for me to get scholarship offers to big schools that like to throw the football. All the schools that wanted to recruit me they ran the wishbone or they ran the option or something like that and thought I was some kind of running quarterback, which they thought all of us were. But I was a guy, my strength was throwing the football. I wanted to go to a school where I could throw the ball. I wanted to go to a Cal Berkeley, or I wanted to go to Stanford, or one of those schools on the West Coast that were throwing the ball, but none of those schools would recruit me. So that's why I decided to go to junior college, because I committed to go to Arizona State out of high school, and they threw the ball there, but then they signed the two top high school quarterbacks in the country at that time, which were white. And they called me and said, "Hey, we're going to still offer you the scholarship, but we're going to change your position. We're going to change you to defensive back." And I'm like, "No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to decommit, and I thank you for the offer." And that's why I decided to go to junior college for a year so I could get more offers as a quarterback at a big time school. So, yeah, it was a difficult journey. The same thing in college. You know, you read off some of my accolades in college, but nobody wanted to draft me as a quarterback in the National Football League. So that was one of the reasons why I decided to go to the Canadian Football League, because they were going to give me that opportunity. So with me, it's always been, okay, you want to close the door on me? Well, then I'll try and find another door that's open, and somebody else that'll give me an opportunity. And I even made the comment coming out of college, if there was a league in Siberia, I would have went there and played quarterback if they were going to give me a chance to play. So that's what I did. I stuck to my guns, and I felt like I could play at a high level and play at any level and any stage that I had been in my career. I felt like I could play with the best at that position. So I felt no differently about the National Football League. But if they didn't want me, then I got to go somewhere where they do.
Right. And I always said this about Warren. I'm not saying this because you're on the show, but you have one of the prettiest balls that's ever been thrown. You know,
appreciate that. You are knocked down a few of them in practice.
You know, and no one can throw the back shoulder fade like you. I know that's a hard thing to throw, but you throw the prettiest back shoulder fade, and it's not been a quarterback in the league, in college, nowhere that can throw that back shoulder fade. You can throw a lot of other great balls, but that back shoulder fade, I think, is probably one of your best balls you throw. I don't know how you feel about that, but to me, that's probably one of your best balls you throw because you can know where to place it. You have good placement of that throw.
You know, having a big receiver made it easier too, because having, you know, Haywood Jeffries on the outside, he was about 6'2", 6'3". So to have a big body that had a big catch radius that could go up and make those type of catches, he was very athletic when he wasn't being lazy, and he can make.
I know. We was trying to get them on. Haywood and Ernest was trying to get on too, and they couldn't. They had technical difficulties also, so we had to drop them off the show also.
Yeah, you know, they talk about these guys who are making all these back shoulder throws now, but we were doing that way back in 1990. People forget about that. We started all that in the National Football League, but they thought it was all a gimmick back then when we were doing it with the run and shoot. But now everybody's doing all the different concepts and pass routes that we ran in the run and shoot. Everybody's doing it now in professional football, and you see what the numbers are for these quarterbacks, the way they're throwing the ball around. Dish, I don't think you could play corner today. They wouldn't let you play the way you want to play because you can't put your hands on the receiver anymore, and you like to beat them up a little bit.
Right. We was just talking about that too, is how the game has changed so much. You know, they always had the 5-yard rule, but they never really enforced it.
Right.
Now the play can be on the other side. You hit the guy 5-6 yards past the play, they throwing a flag. It's a first down.
Right.
You know, I think they need to get back to letting football be football and take some of the flags and take some of the rules out of the game and get it back to where it was and let it be football. You know,
go out there and hit. I know they worry about injuries. They worry about concussions and things like that. But as far as putting your hands on a receiver, that's something that's totally different. And I know they want to protect the quarterback. I wish they would have protected the quarterback more when I was playing.
Exactly. Exactly.
I might still be playing, but you can't even touch these guys or blow on them now. And you can only hit them in certain places on their body. I don't know how you can play defense anymore today.
Well, that's what I said. If you was playing with those rules right there, then I don't think no one could touch you as far as a quarterback throwing and passing and the run and shoot and stuff like that. Imagine having someone, Ernest, get knocked down in the slot, and next thing you know, you got a first down. You know, so it's amazing how the rules have changed now, and how guys are just, like you said, throwing the ball everywhere.
Well, speaking of rules, Chris had an opportunity to coach in the CFL. And so that was my first time really seeing game after game and being there live and in person. It sure is different than when you're seeing it on television. The field is bigger. The game is faster. A big lead can change quickly. We saw that. We were on the wrong end of it at the time, but we saw that also with the Montreal Alouettes. So if you had to pick, not mix, if you had to pick a league, which rules did you like the best between the CFL and the NFL?
You know, that's a really good question. I kind of wish there was a mixture, and I know that can't be my answer, but I think if they mix some of those things in with the NFL rules, it would make the game a little bit more interesting, a little bit more fun. I definitely love playing in the National Football League more because it was more of a challenge. You know, you're playing against the best players in the world. And even though I had a really good career up in Canada, in the back of my mind, I was always asking myself, how good am I really? And the only way you're ever going to know how good you are is to play against the best. So that was one of the things that made me want to come back to the NFL, because I was very happy playing up there. I wasn't being judged by the color of my skin. I was being paid well. We were winning championships. And that's all I really wanted out of the game. But again, in the back of my mind is, how can I play with these guys who are considered the best players in the world? So that's why I decided to come back and see how good I could really be. And that was the curiosity and the challenge that I put before myself. But I love playing both places. There's no question about it. But I think the best players in the world and the best competition is right down in the United States.
All right. So I'll flip it and you mix the rules. What rules in the CFL do you want to adopt into the NFL. Today, you are Commissioner Warren Moon. So what rule changes do you make?
I just like all the different ways you can score up there. Even if you miss a field goal, if they don't bring the ball out of the end zone, that's a point for the team to miss the field goal. I love the fact that every punt return has to be returned. There's no such thing as a fair catch. That's so boring in sports to me. You know, why are you going to fair catch the football? In Canada, you have to give the guy a 2-yard ring around him to let him catch the football, and then everything is returned. So, and I love the fact that the game is faster as far as they have a 20-second clock compared to what we have a 40-second clock. So you have to really keep the game going, keep the game moving. You know, the 3-down thing, I'm really kind of up and down on, because it does put a lot of pressure on the offense to have to score first downs with only 2 downs really to do that with. Where down here you get 3 downs, but it's more of a challenge up there when you only have 2 downs. You have to throw the football more, and you have to be more successful with your running game if you do run the ball. So it's really a different game. It's strategized differently because of that. But again, I love them both, and I had success in both of them.
So this one on his first day, I'm gonna bust him out as Coach Dishman when he was at the Montreal Alouettes. He came back home, his eyes were big after the first day of practice. It was something about, and Chris, you gotta give me the details, because you know I was a gymnast. That was my sport.
Right.
Something about people being in motion.
Was the
everybody moving before the ball, yeah.
Emotion kind of
that's something I really didn't like. I didn't like that because I wasn't used to that. So I didn't want my receivers doing all that motion stuff and hitting the line of scrimmage, running full speed, because that throws the timing of the playoff all the way around to me, especially if you're trying to throw a timing out or a timing in route or something like that, because you never know what speed the guy is hitting the line of scrimmage on. Sometimes he might hit it at half speed. Sometimes he's hitting it full speed. A lot of times they're jumping off sides because they're hitting it before the snap of the ball. So I didn't like my guys to do that. So we basically just, if we went in motion, it was just sideways where they could get away from the defensive back, kind of like you'd go in motion normally in the National Football League. Definitely not going forward towards the line of scrimmage.
All right, so social media was not a thing, right? The internet was not a thing.
Thank God.
Well, that was the question. Is Warren Moon successful in the social media world as far as, you know, building up the brand of what it is to be a quarterback? Is it more difficult with the social media world? Is it a distraction to today?
For me?
Well, if I bring you into today, if I bring you in as a quarterback today, is social media a help to you or is it a hindrance to you?
You know, I think it can be a help to you is depending on how you use it. Even today, I'm on it now a little bit just to kind of keep engaging with my fans and that, because I know there's a necessity to have it, but I don't get overwhelmed with it. I don't check mine at all. If you somehow got back in touch with me, I wouldn't know it because I have somebody that does it for me. So it would be that way for me if I played. I would put things out there that I felt were important for me to say or once said, but as far as engaging with fans and going back and forth with people that might be critical of me or whatever, I just wouldn't do anything like that, because you're just asking for tougher times than what you need. So there can be an advantage to it depending on how you use it, and I would try and use it the right way, especially knowing what I know now about social media.
Absolutely, I agree. So if there's a Legends League and you get a chance to play with people your age range,
I'm past the Legends.
The same thing I told him.
I'm past the Legends. I'm old fogey. They have an old fogey league, old broken down league. That's the league I'd be in right now.
Let's see. When you were playing, what was the competitions? There was the fastest man competition, but wasn't there like a you know, during the
we had a quarterback. We had a competition,
yes,
quarterback challenge.
Yes, and you participated in that.
Participated in it all the time. We had a lot of fun doing that.
Good.
Yeah.
They don't do that anymore, do they? I don't think.
I think they stopped a few years ago. I guess they had all these different competitions they used to do at the Pro Bowl and that, and guys were getting hurt, so they stopped doing those things. You know, one guy lost his career playing in a flag football game at the Pro Bowl. And so they cut that out. So as guys got hurt, like they had a bench pressing competition one time and a guy hurt his shoulder, they cut that out. So the league is very, very cautious about making sure guys don't get hurt.
Oh, absolutely.
Warren,
It's a business.
I have a question for you. With the new leagues coming out now, the USFL and the XFL coming back, if someone was to call you to be a coach or a general manager, which one would you take?
I'd say thank you, but no thank you to both of them. You know, Dish, you know how much of a commitment it takes to play the game every day, and you know how much time I put into it. And when at least I got a chance to go home at the end of the day when practice was over. A coach doesn't do that. A coach goes back into meetings, or we had an off day during the season. The coaches don't have an off day during the season. They're putting a game plan in. I just don't want that type of life anymore. I want freedom to do a lot of different things that I do. And I have 8 grandkids now, so I visit them a lot. Those things will go away if you're coaching now. So as much as I have respect for coaches, there's no way that I would want to get involved in a day-to-day atmosphere of football.
Okay.
Would you broadcast? Could we see you pop up as, on Monday Night Football?
That could happen. That could definitely happen. And even that is more of a commitment than people think, because for a Monday night game, they start their preparations and travel on Thursday of the day before the game. When they go to the home city, they have production dinners, they go watch the team practice on Saturday. It's a lot of preparation that leads up to one of those games on Monday night. So you just have to make sure that you want to put that type of time in, and you have that type of time.
Last question about the CFL. Do you think the CFL is still a viable path for players today who may not see the opportunities that they were interested in?
Yeah, I think any league that's out there is a viable path. As long as you're getting a chance to go out there and compete and show what you can do and improve wherever you can play. Like, I'm so glad that the USFL is getting ready to start up. I think the XFL is going to eventually come back into play as well. We need development leagues like that, because there's a lot of guys that just aren't quite ready to play in the NFL right away, but after maybe a year or two of development, they are ready. And we've seen that happen so many years ago with NFL Europe or whatever it might be. Kurt Warner came out of that league, who was the MVP of the league and in the Hall of Fame. Brad Johnson, who I played with, a quarterback, he went to a Super Bowl. He was in that league. I can go on and on. John Kitten, all these different guys who were developed in the NFL Europe. It was because they weren't quite ready to play when they came out of college, but they got that development time, and then they developed into really good players. So it's not just for players, it's also for coaches, it's for trainers, it's for medical people. They all get a chance to learn their profession in those type of leagues and get better.
All right. I got some rapid fire questions for you. You can't think. I'm just going to ask it. I just want you to spit it out. You ready?
Yeah, I can't think anymore from all the hits.
Favorite bowl game that you played in?
The Rose Bowl.
Okay. Everybody loves to compare players versus another one. Who did you pattern your game after?
Wow. I wish I could say there was somebody I could, but probably Roger Staubach.
Okay. All right. Every generation makes an athletic twin, meaning somebody is going to play like you in the later generations. Who is the Warren Moon twin in today's NFL?
I've been told by a lot of people, Dak Prescott. We have a lot of similarities.
Okay.
I can see that.
Yep, I can see that too. All right. Dancing with the Stars, Houston Oilers edition. Who wins the trophy?
Ernest Givens.
It's the same thing he said.
That dude danced all day, every day. If you went to practice, he was dancing. I called him Little Michael Jackson.
Oh, so he was really dancing then.
Oh, yeah.
All right, last question. In the late 80s and early 90s, Houston sports, in my opinion, was on fire. To me, I don't care if you thought you liked another team. If you're in Houston, there's no way that you don't fall in love with every single team in Houston sports. Summer 86, the Rockets go to the finals. They play the Celtics. They lose, but you fast forward, 94, 95, they win the championship. Astros, one game away in fall of '86 from going to the World Series. Played the New York Mets 16-inning game. Kevin Bath was at bat. Lord, I remember like it was yesterday. It was close. 93 Oilers, one game away from going to the Super Bowl. I believe in my heart. I tell people, don't at me. You guys make it to the Super Bowl. Dallas doesn't even score a point. You guys win the championship. Will Houston have another trifecta, another moment where all three of their teams are firing on all cylinders?
Wow. I think it's definitely possible. The Houston Rockets have a really good young team right now, good nucleus. I think they just need a couple of veterans to add to that. They're on a 7-game winning streak right now, so they have a team that you can look forward to for the future. The Texans have a lot of work to do. They've got some stuff internally they've got to work on. Are they going to have the same coach, or what are they going to do with this rebuilding situation? The Astros, I think, are going to be right back in the thick of things. They have a very, very talented team. So it's probably going to take a little while before you have 3 teams that are all ready to go for vying for a championship. But I would say in the next 3 years, we'd have to at least see it, maybe 3, maybe 4 years before all 3 teams are at that level.
All right, Houston. Warren Moon has spoken. Listen, I know our time is coming to an end. How can fans and the Lunch Break family, how can we keep in touch with you and support the things that are important to you?
Well, I'm on Twitter at WMoon1. I'm on Instagram at Warren Moon 1, and I have my foundation, CrescentMoonFoundation.org. So there's a lot of different ways you can get a hold of me, but don't expect a lot of feedback from me.
Well, if we go to your foundation, we'll see things that you're doing.
What I'm doing and follow things that I am doing and involved with, but don't expect a lot of callbacks from me, okay?
That's not a problem. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for taking the time out. Chris, anything?
Warren, thanks a lot. And just speaking on the Crescent Moon Foundation, Warren has been doing that foundation for Warren, but I know at least over 30 years.
Since '89, we started. Yeah. That was the year I was Man of the Year, and it's been a very successful thing for me, providing scholarships for underprivileged high school kids. And we're also doing something now here in Houston called Brothers in Arms. And it's a foundation we started with Andre Ware, Bench Young, and myself. We all come from single family mom homes. And we all have a association because we all play quarterback. We all lived or played in the city of Houston. And we want to give back to kids who are coming from single mom homes, who are involved in sports, have good grades, but need that financial backing to go to college. So we've given out 10 scholarships so far the last 2 years, and we plan on doing a bunch more this next year with another fundraiser and golf tournament and things. So we've got some good things going on right here in Houston as well.
Very good. Well, thank you. Be well, and hopefully we can get you on again soon. Your friend. Salute. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
It knows how to get a hold of me, and
absolutely.
You guys have a happy holidays, all right? And good luck to you, Dish, with the coaching down there at IMG.
Thank you, Warren. I appreciate you, and good luck to you and at the Crescent Moon Foundation and the Brothers at Arms. You said.
Yes, sir. Brothers with Arms.
Brothers with Arms. Yes, Brothers with Arms. Yes, we definitely got to go, and you guys, fans, go out there and look that up and donate to the Crescent Moon Foundation and Brothers Arms. Because Warren have done so much for the Houston community. It's amazing. So thank you, Warren, for being on. We appreciate you, and happy holidays to you and your family.
Absolutely.
And you guys.
Thank you. And Lunch Breakers, we got a little bit more to go to say goodbye, but stick with us. You're on the Lunch Break Freestyle Friday on the legendary KYOK AM 1140 92.3 FM. We're about to run to a break, and then it'll be goodbye for the day.
Aldine AFT presents a grand gift giveaway. It's a drive-through holiday event. Hi, this is Eugene Johnson with Man to Man Let's Talk.
Hi, this is Shy from Shiloh Radio and the legendary KYOK. Join us Saturday, December 18th from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, broadcasting live from Aldine AFT office located at 1404 North Sam Houston Parkway East. We will be giving away free HEB gift cards, turkeys, holiday gifts, and more while supplies last.
And it's open to the community. That's Saturday, December 18th, 10 a.m. to 12 noon at Aldine AFT office, 1404 North Sam Houston Parkway East.
That's right. Come on by and drive through and get these holiday treats and kick off Christmas with Aldine AFT and the legendary KYOK. We'll see you there.
All right, lunch breakers, we are back. And, you know, I am older than I look. So I remember Carol Burnett would always tug her ear. I'm not saying that we should be on the tug ear moment, but that's really where we are. So you got to play the right song for the tug ear moment. The right song for that is Blessed, because that's really where we are with this. We are so blessed just to be in a position where we can wake up and make the wake up list. You know, we are chosen. Everybody that opens their eyes are chosen today to have some kind of contribution. You know, and so that's so very important for us to remember that and to know how can we relate to our brothers and sisters. This is not a color thing. This is not a gender thing. This is not a religion thing. It's a people thing. And so, you know, I just want to appreciate you all for listening and paying attention to everything that, you know, happens in this world. Sometimes you see people that are down. You only see them when you really see them, and you can help them out. And that's where people like Warren Moon or Chris Dishman or others decide they see a need, and you go and try to help and fill the gap or help people be even better where they are. But it's from the blessing. It is the blessing to you, and you can be a blessing to others. Chris?
From my heart to you guys, from KYOK family, thank you guys for having us on. Jen, thank you for the show, for bringing me on. AJ, thank you for having a birthday where I could be on.
Hey, it's your birthday, AJ.
All right, and we know you're listening. You're supposed to be out hanging, but we know you're listening. Thank you for once again for allowing us to have a platform to talk about and to bring on other guys to talk about stuff that's important to them.
Absolutely. Well, you guys take care. We are 2 minutes late. I'm sorry for the next show. We've got an engineer in the studio that's going to flip it over. But again, I appreciate you guys. Take care. This has been the Lunch Break Freestyle Friday on the legendary KYOK AM 1140 and 92.3 FM. We'll see you on Monday.